So welcome, and some of you I know are very familiar with this, others not so much, but on Friday we celebrated the 50th Urs of Murshid Samuel Lewis, and so that's 50 years since he left the body. And Murshid Sam, as he's known, he's the originator of the Dances of Universal Peace. He's the originator of the Sufi Ruhaniyat International, although it didn't actually take form until just after he passed. But so that's the legacy that we are celebrating at the moment, and it's an astonishing thing, really, that 50 years later, this stream is so much appreciated and still has so much to offer and so much to share. So I think today and Tuesday, I think we'll be exploring some of the legacy of Murshid Sam that we don't always explore in these circumstances, because there's much more than just the dances that we sometimes do. Anything you want to add to that?
Just to say that sometimes his dances are done less often because their melodies are perhaps more simple and less attractive. But when one dances them more, one actually finds there's a lot of power in them, sometimes more power than some other dances.
So yes, deceptive simplicity and direct. So welcome to the people that have arrived since we started. And let's together say our invocation. And as we were practicing the other night with our theme of concentration, I invite you to really be as present as you can with every word and feel into the meaning and the embodiment of every word. So, taking hands in our circle. Towards the One, the perfection of love, harmony and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of Guidance. And then one more time in our expanded version. Towards the One, the perfection of love, harmony and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the message, the mystery, the miracle, the Mother, the Spirit of Guidance. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We begin in the name of all that is, all mercy, all compassion. Oops, clonkety clonk. Do you want to put it into?
Oh, yes. That one.
Yeah. Don't know if that made any difference to you, actually. Can you see us? I think this is just for us, this one here.
Right.
I think it's this we have to do.
Okay. Sorry, just fiddling with this.
Because it's changed. I guess the thing is, you just put us on speaker view when you want to. When you want to see us up big. And occasionally we'll invite you to put it back on gallery view. So we're going to begin with the dance that Murshid Sam would often begin his sessions with, known as the introductory Bismillah. So we say Allah, Allah, Allah.
Allah, Allah, Allah.
And I'm enjoying at the moment this connection in my being with Allah and all that is, all that is. Anyway, one of the names for God, for unity. And then we say Ar-Rahman,
Ar-Rahman,
Ir-Rahim,
Ir-Rahim.
Rahman, the sun of love, the radiant love that we are radiating, and Rahim, the moon of love, the compassionate feeling with reflecting internal love. So those are the qualities that we're walking with. Very simple melody, of course. Allah, 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 Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. That's it, really. I'm just a bit worried about the microphone. Can you keep an eye on it and be my tech person, please? So we'll do that one more time. Allah, 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 Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. So, Murshid Sam specialises in two-note melodies. He wasn't a great singer, but that's not really the point. So let's stand up if you want to, if you've got room. And if not, you can just modify these movements to suit yourself. So we're going to be stepping for the Allah. Sense of being connected as a whole circle, so that we're being breathed up and down on Rahim. So Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Allah, Allah. Okay, so we'll do that a few times, and then I'll call out one turn, and we can turn to the right. So you go all the way around for Rahman and Rahim. Rahim. And then we'll go back to the Allahs, and then I might call out 2 turns or even 3 turns. We'll see what happens. And we're going to begin with 10 Allahs the first time, and then after that it's 4 every time. Practice in concentration, counting to 10. Off we go. Allah, 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 raising up. silence, just breathing and feeling and noticing. Noticing how it feels. Noticing what's going on in your body, in your energy field. Especially noticing anything that feels different from the beginning of the dance. Amen.
Amen. Should we do a greeting dance?
Let's do that.
Oh, try not to fall off my
Drum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Peace be with you. Do you want to say anything?
The next phrase? La ilaha.
Oh yes, there's another phrase. La ilaha illallah.
La ilaha illallah.
La ilaha illallah.
La ilaha illallah.
It's another version of nothing exists except unity. As Jelani often says, I forgot. My mind's a little bit slow today.
Separation is illusion. So I think in this dance, when we're greeting each other with peace, first of all, we're honouring our separateness. It's like you're there and I'm here and I'm wishing you peace. And then La ilaha illallah, the affirmation that there's no separation between us. We're each one of us a ray of the same divine light.
Very good.
Might be wearing different clothes, but...
So what we're going to invite you to do in this dance, normally we'd be dancing with one partner and then we'd move on to the next partner. So we're going to invite you to choose somebody in a window on the screen.
So it'd be good to have gallery view for this if you can.
And and then we move on. So on Assalamu alaikum, we're going to be dancing with somebody that we've chosen, and then La ilaha illallah, we turn and then we bow to a new person, and we pause and connect to our shared unity.
I was just thinking, sometimes we've done a variation of connecting with the palms, haven't we? Just like I just want to demonstrate it, like La ilaha illallah. So we could...
And we've done quite a bit of this on Zoom, actually, connecting to each other like this, which I find seems to work. So we could go La ilaha illallah and then connect to a new person. Great. So let's sing it. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. La ilaha illallah. Okay. That's pretty easy. Don't need to repeat the melody. So when we're dancing, let's imagine we're holding hands with the person that we're connecting with in the window. And we can just do a little, you can free dance a bit, just move around a bit like this perhaps. Normally we're dancing in a circle, and at the end of each phrase we just bow to each other.
Maybe we should just model that so people have a feel
Yeah.
for it.
Assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum, la ilaha Allah. Okay, let's give it a go. Couple more times. Last time. Now maybe just taking in the whole circle, looking round the screen, taking each person in, and then we could just all say Allah together, connecting us all. Allah. Allah. Ameen. Well, I was just enjoying going from window to window there, dancing with each one of you.
I'm especially enjoying the dancing dog. And just referring to the message in chat, and there are many reasons why people might need to not have their camera on, often to do with health issues. So we just know that we hold you in our hearts, and we understand that if you are not able to show your faces, we understand. We accept you just as you are.
Yeah, we're still dancing with you in our hearts.
Yeah. So we were going to have a play. Are you ready to move on to that? Have a play with some of the walking practices and breath practices of Murshid Sam. So the dances are his best known work, but they're only a part of his work. So something that in fact last week I think I shared something of the sun breath, and we're going to do sun and moon today, but you were going to start with sun, weren't you? Salik.
So many of these practices are, well, I think all of them, they're embodied. So we are using different parts of our body, so not just our mouths.
Yeah, can I just say that I think that's the real genius of Murshid Sam, is these embodied practices. So in so many ways.
Yes. There's some spiritual practices just involve sitting, and in our tradition we move quite a lot. Somebody, I was doing a retreat yesterday for a group of men, and somebody said it was really good to do these embodied practices again, to be reminded of their power.
And one of the really useful things about some of these breathing and walking practices is they form a bridge between meditation sitting on a cushion, or even the dances that we do in groups, and everyday life, because you can take a breath with you wherever you go. You can take a concentration and awareness wherever you go. You can practice it in every situation you find yourself in, and there are many ways of understanding more deeply who we are by exploring these different parts of our being through different walks and breaths. So that's part of the purpose and the value of this.
So when you're walking down the street, or I'm walking down the street, or through the house, and maybe feeling like I need to change my state, or I'd like to attune to something a bit higher, then I might try and do a particular breath practice or moving practice. So this is one, for example, the sun breath, the sun turn or spin, and the sun walk, which we can do now. So Jelani taught the sun breath the other day, but I'll just remind you, it's breathing in through the right nostril and out through both nostrils. And if you need to, you can just close the left nostril while you breathe in.
And you may find you can just do that with your intention.
See if you can attune to a sense of radiance on the out-breath. The sun radiating from your being.
So it can be quite a powerful in-breath, like charging the battery so that the light can shine.
Taking a bit more energy in each time, powering up the sun inside.
And connecting with the light of the sun on the outside. Maybe you're aware of the sunlight or even the warmth.
So perhaps when you've done that a few times, we'll just move on to the sun spin. Just take a few more breaths. And then if you're able to stand up and turn. So this turn is a turn clockwise, a sun spin. And we have our arms extended in a radiant position, as if we are the sun radiating light, perhaps from our palms as well as from our chest, from our whole body. And if you can, I'd invite you to breathe the sun breath as we turn slowly to the right, radiating.
We're going to who?
Do you want to suggest that? Yeah.
So on the out breath, you can be intoning a whoo at a comfortable pitch as you radiate.
Breathe in again, recharge and turn again. Feel that sound radiating out like the light radiating outwards from your being. And then we can experiment with walking as the sun. Walking whilst breathing the sun breath. So in through the right nostril, out through both nostrils. And I'm going to invite you to perhaps time your breath with your walk. I've been doing 4 steps in-breath, 4 steps for the out-breath. And again, imagine that you are the sun. You radiate to every part. There is no place that you cannot reach in your radiance.
And the sun is full of confidence. It doesn't doubt whether it can shine or not. It just shines.
And if you have a bit of space, experiment filling the space, walking across the space, filling it with your radiance, your sense of confidence and purpose.
Looking straight ahead, eyes up.
The sun does not doubt that it will continue to shine and reach every place, every corner of the universe. So just stopping and noticing how you are feeling now. What is your state? Is it any different from how it was before we started this practice? Thank you. So now I think Jalan is going to lead us in the moon breath and walk.
And the moon walk. So, the breath for the moon is out through the left nostril, and the in-breath just happens as a reaction to that. So we're focused on breathing out, creating the space, and then just absorbing on the in-breath. It's effortless reflection and absorption of just the way the moon reflects the light of the sun. And is able to shine without any effort of her own. So using your finger to close your right nostril while you feel you need to, or doing it with just the intention. Out through the left. This very refined, natural absorption through both. Effortless. And if you've got space, we'll do the moon spin. So this is to the left, continuing with the moon breath. And the power of the imagination to imagine this body as the moon, reflecting the light of the sun. The quality of the light of the moon, all the different phases of the moon, from the full moon to the dark moon, the changeable quality of the moon, reflecting more or less light at different times. And again, we'll do a whoo as we turn to the left. We'll just turn for the breath, for the length of one breath. And we'll walk a little with the moon. This extreme sensitivity, the whole of my body reflecting, aware of what is around me. The eyes are soft and slightly down. And just coming to a stand, and a few more of these moon breaths out through the left nostril, in through both. And just noticing how it feels. Especially noticing any difference that you might observe from when you were doing the sun. Or maybe there's no difference, and that's fine. And for the final part of this practice, I'd like to invite you to return to yourself, very much your body, your breath, your walk, and just with awareness in your most natural way of being, can you feel this balance of sun and moon? Feel which one you might connect with more naturally, which one might be to the forefront today. They're both states that are available to all of us, but some of us feel more naturally aligned with one or the other. So just your own natural walk, your own natural breath in this moment. Which do you feel more strongly, sun or moon? And when you're ready, come and sit down again. And so if we want to work with sun and moon together, we can be breathing in through the right and out through the left. So as we breathe in through the right, we're charging, bringing in this radiance of the sun, the warmth, the light, the heat. And as we breathe out, balancing that with the reflective qualities, the quiet coolness of the moon. And when you feel ready, just return to your natural breath and again notice the balance of sun and moon. Amen. I think we'll do another dance to get ourselves moving. Maybe would you play the guitar for this one or the drum? I don't mind for the Shri Ram. So we're going to say Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
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 So this is one of the, apparently Murshid Sam said that he shared with his students 2 ways that he knew of reaching enlightenment. This is one of them. The other one is La ilaha illallah. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 So let's stand. And this is going to be a kind of follow my leader. I'm going to be choosing different movements for this phrase. Oops. Right. And so you copy me. So I guess for this one, it might be good to have it on speaker view. I don't know, you can see, or if you'd like to be on gallery, then you'll see everybody copying me, so that would also be fine. So long as it's big enough that you can pick up the gestures. They're going to be fairly clear, I'm sure, and simple. So first of all, we're just starting with the right foot. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Again, just noticing, feeling, breathing. One of the things that Murshid Sam's dances do is affect our state very directly. They're very efficient. So often there can be quite a noticeable difference in the energy field, in the body sensations between starting and finishing one of Murshid Sam's dances, even if it's been a bit out of breath in that one. So we're going to share another series of practices with you now. It's kind of a borderline dance and practice. We're going to do some of the wazifa walks. So this is repeating some of the 99 names with certain gestures, but we're going to sort of stitch them together into one kind of unit. So in between each wazifa, we'll be chanting Allah and sidestepping. Allah, 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 and then turning. And then we'll move on to the next wazifa. And we'll just each time take a short moment just to give a translation for the wazifa, so you have something to focus your mind on and understanding. But also with the gestures, allow your mind to be open to what wisdom comes to you from your body about the meaning of this word. You know, it's a sound mantra and a body movement, and there's wisdom in all of that. Is that enough to start with? And we're going to just... We don't need the guitar for this one, do we?
No. So I was just saying the other day, when I first, for a while after coming across these names in Arabic, I struggled a bit intellectually with remembering the meaning and thinking, what is the meaning? I'm not really getting it. And then after a while, I had the teaching that it's about the effect of the sound on the body. And the beauty of these walks, if they're not just walks, they're gestures, is that they bring their own experience of meaning in the body.
And you will find if you, particularly if you Google some of these names, you'll get very, very different translations and meanings. It's not that one's right and one's wrong. There are different ways to experience and to understand the Arabic. That's part of the way that the Semitic languages work, and Arabic being part of that tradition. So, we were just discussing this morning, weren't we? What was it you said? It was Azim.
Azim, yes. I was given a particular meaning and then had my own experience of that. And then I read it somewhere else and I think, it's different. Why is it different? What?
So it's really important to remember it's not wrong. Whatever you already have, keep that, but maybe add another flavour if there's something here that works. So let's stand up again.
So do we give any meanings or not?
I think we should. So you're going to start with Rahman and Rahim, and we'll do Bismillah first of all.
Okay.
So we begin Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And let's do some Allahs. Allah, 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 Hu.
Let's sing Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Ya Rahman, palms facing down, radiating love, compassion. Ya Rahim, palms facing up, receiving compassion, receiving the mercy, the love of God. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. And do walk around. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Allah, 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 Allah,
Ya Fatah, the opener of the way. Hands coming out from the heart. Ya Fatah, 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 Ya Fatah. Allah, 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 Allah,
Ya Azim.
Ya Azim.
Ya Azim. Our arms raised up, straight towards the heavens. Stretch those arms out, receiving the glory of the divine. The meaning that was given to me is ecstasy through glorification. We're connecting to the glory of Allah, of the One. Ya Azim, Ya Azim, Ya Azim, Ya Azim, Ya Azim, Ya Azim. Allah, 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 Allah,
Ya Hayy, O Ya Qayyum. Ya Hayy, O Ya Qayyum. O life, O eternal. And we begin with our hands above the crown, and they come down through the chakras and down towards the earth, and then up again. Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum, Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum, Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum, Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum. Allah, 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 Allah,
Ya Aziz, divine strength.
Ya Aziz.
Ya Aziz. So we're raising our arms in what is described as the Hercules position. Imagine that you're holding the earth, but you're leaning your head back slightly as well. Ya Aziz, attuning to the strength of unity of the divine, becoming your own strength. Ya Aziz, Ya Aziz, Ya Aziz, Ya Aziz, Ya Aziz. Allah, 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 Allah,
Here's one that's very useful for these times. Ya Sabur. Ya Sabur.
Ya Sabur.
So sometimes translated as patience. It's to do with working within structure and limits, finding the freedom within the structure and the limits. And the walk is 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And then we just wait until it's time to take the next step forward. Ya Sabur. And we don't necessarily move at the same time. We move when it's our time to move. Ya Sabur. Ya Sabur. Allah, 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 Shall I do it wrong? So here's another one. Ya Wali, the nearest friend. And we're folding our arms over our hearts, remembering that God is our nearest friend, always with us, closer than the jugular vein. No matter how alone or isolated we feel, the nearest friend is always here. It's giving ourselves a hug. Ya Wali, Ya Wali, Ya Wali, Ya Wali, Ya Wali. Allah, 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 Allah,
Let's finish with the 3 wazifas, gifts that Muhammad gave to his daughter. Subhanallah,
Subhanallah,
Alhamdulillah,
Alhamdulillah,
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Subhanallah, the purity, the pure nature of unity. Alhamdulillah, All praise and thanks returning to the one, to Allah. And Allahu Akbar, translated by Samuel Lewis as peace is power. So we're going to sing these and do a bit of a walk at the same time. Subhanallah, we are cradling the power center, the womb space, the hara with our hands, just in a little cradle underneath that second chakra. So that's Subhanallah. And then Alhamdulillah, taking our hands, touching our heart and throwing them in the air in praise and thanks. Alhamdulillah. And then Allahu Akbar, we're standing together in strength, in the strength and peace of Allah. So we're going to imagine standing together in a circle with our hands resting on each other's shoulders, supporting each other in this circle. So looking at each other, connecting. And we can be walking at the same time, either actually walking around the room or walking on the spot. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Ameen.
Ameen.
Ameen. So thank you for joining us on that journey. Quite a journey of different parts, different states.
I think what I'm going to suggest is that we go straight on to our closing dance, and then maybe at the end, people who would like to share a little bit more about that journey, we could just stay on for a few minutes and chat together. So let's close for now with the Kalama, which is probably Murshid Sam's best known, best loved dance. La ilaha el Allahu.
La ilaha el Allahu.
Is it alright if I lead this off? Okay. Muhammad Rasulullah.
Muhammad Rasulullah.
So we're connecting with the divine message, and Muhammad, the perfection of all messenger, if you like, that we can also find in our own being, just as we embody all of these qualities. We can also be the perfect messenger, the one who's open and listening to God. I heard the other day that somebody once asked Murshid Sam what he would call God, what name he would have for God. And he said, I'd call him the great chatterbox because he never shuts up. He's talking to me all the time. So what can we do to open to that, to the source of all and the voice, she, he, it, talking to us all the time? So that's the quality of the Rasulullah. So for La ilaha, we're emptying out. We're saying, no, nothing exists. And then we're filling up with only this, only unity, only this love, only this presence, only this message. That's all we affirm. So here's the melody. La ilaha illallahu, la ilaha illallahu, la ilaha illallahu, Muhammad Rasulullah, Muhammad Rasulullah, La ilaha illallahu, La ilaha illallahu, La ilaha illallahu, Muhammad Rasulullah, Muhammad Rasulullah. So harmonies are very welcome. Explore your own range of harmony as you sing along with us, and let's stand and dance. So we begin by stepping back, stepping out of the circle, emptying ourselves out. La ilaha illallah. On the left foot. La ilaha. Stepping in on the right. Illallah. La ilaha illallah. Now turning right. Listening for the message. Rasulullah. All the way. Muhammad Rasulullah. Emptying. La ilaha illallah. 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 La ila again, taking the space just to feel, just to notice. Notice your breath, notice your body, notice your energy field. How is the one being manifesting through you right now? Ameen.
Ameen.
And I want to say, Ya Azam. Ya Azam. How magnificently the one is manifesting to me through you right now. Ya Azam.
Ya Azam.
Ya Azam.
Ya Azam.
Ya Azam. So let's close in our traditional way. May all beings be well. This is a melody that came from Joe Miller, who was a great friend of Murshid Sam's, who after Murshid Sam's passing, he acted as a kind of godfather to the young group of murids and supported them magnificently until they were old enough and established enough to manage alone. Not alone, but you know. There's a story that when Murshid Sam was basically dying, he was in hospital, very sick, and according to the medical staff, he never came out of his coma, but various students of his and friends of his, he would speak to them very clearly. And when Joe Miller came to see him in the hospital, apparently he kind of sat up and he was going, take it, and Joe's going, I'm taking it, and he said, take it, I'm taking it. And you know, maybe this was part of what he was doing, taking that responsibility, holding that for just a bit longer. So remembering Murshid Sam and his dear friend Joe Miller with deep gratitude. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. Peace. 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 Svaha, so may it be.